Alright, here I'm going to teach you how to play BristleBack, one of the strongest tanks in Dota 2. He's pretty good at chasing down as well as escaping people.
You don't say.
And generally for level 1, what I like to take and what
Prepare
most people
for
take
battle.
is Quill Spray.
Oi,
So this will be your damage item, damage ability, as well as chase down mechanism.
Indeed.
So yeah, so this is just some last hitting.
Time for a good scrap.
So when it comes to last hitting as well, you want to look at this character, this range creep. When the range creep, like you watch the projectile of the range creep. So once it's at the point you think it's good, then you hit it. Like that.
Right.
The second thing you should add is usually BristleBack. It's the name of the hero as well as his ability. So what it does is that when you get hit on the side or the back, you take less damage. So it makes it a very good hero to sort of escape with. So let's say if you're being chased down by a hero or by towers, you just run the opposite direction and you take much less damage.
Bit of work to do.
Also to note, when you take enough damage from the back, you'll get an automatic Quill Spray. Quill Spray is something that you can pretty much just spam all the time at some point to make sure you get a lot of what's it called?
Not yet.
Like mana regeneration item, but usually just need one and it's good enough.
I'll
So
sort this out.
at level 3, you want to add Quill Spray again, because this is your main damage item. So you want to make sorry, this is your main damage ability. So you want to max this first. So level 4.
What do you know?
Personally, I like to go with the goo, but some people just go with BristleBack. So it's up to you whether you want to have more defense or to have more chase down. I prefer chase down, so I do that. Level 5, you go with Quill Spray. Level 6, you go with Warpath. So both Warpath and BristleBack are passives.
Yes.
So you don't really need to overthink things in terms of
You want some of this,
what
son?
it really
You
does.
want it?
So what you really need to master is just when you should be pressing Q and when you should be pressing
That
W.
way.
So general guide is whenever you're chasing,
I'll bash your dim.
whenever you're chasing after a hero. Let's say if I make an enemy here, and the enemy will, I don't know, let's say run like this, and you chase after him. Then you just keep wanting to like chase after him and pressing W.
No, I'm not ready.
So you just keep spamming W, and at some point you'll manage to
Ready.
go.
Bit of work to do.
But then also with Q, you slow him down. So when you're chasing, Q is a very good button to spam. Kinda like that. But yeah, when you're running away from an enemy or tower, you just run back and just keep pressing W. Well, here you don't have it.
That way.
You just keep running,
It's not time
pressing
yet,
W
mate.
every once in a while. Once in a while you chase it, and you run back. That way you should almost never die as Bristle,
Oi, one step at a time.
with the exception of spells or whatnot.
Dies.
You should have bet down, son.
Okay, so now
I'm
level 7.
alright,
So at
proper
level
basher.
7, what you should have is 1 level into Goo, 4 levels into Quill Spray, 1 into BristleBack, and 1 to Warpath.
I'll sort
So
this.
from here, each additional level, it depends on your play style, where if you want the Q or you want the BristleBack.
One step
I'd
at a
say
time.
that for most cases you want the BristleBack first, because you just want the Goo for its slowing ability. It's not so much about anything else. Oh, but they changed also the movement slow per stack. Okay, that's extreme.
Yes.
So in that case, there is a good reason if you play like a much more aggressive version of this character that you would max Q first. But before, what you would do is you would just add BristleBack. So say like
Here we go.
to be sort of on the friendly side, beginner friendly, just add it like
basher.
this.
I'll
So
sort
at level
this
10,
out.
you should be having 1 into Q, 1 into W. Sorry. What am I saying? 1 into Q, 4 into W, 4 into BristleBack, and then 1 into Warpath.
Yes.
So this is what your skills should look like at level 10. Then if you keep leveling up, at 11, what you want to do is you want to add a tree. The tree, personally, I'd say that depending on how you play, but I say like what I like to take is mana regen. because mana regen is this blue bar, and it'll let you cast these spells. So you see, like here, there's 12, and this is 35. So each
You
time
don't say.
you cast, it will take away that much from your blue bar. That was
Not yet.
and that mana regen just allows you to speed it up much faster. So we're gonna go a bit into like the items real quick. So items wise, you go down to here, you click here. I'd say that the first item that would be good to take would be the I think the Ring of Basilisk does make sense because they took away the what that item is
I'll
called.
sort this.
Drawing a blank for a moment.
Yes.
Say to start off and you are playing probably a farming build, what you want to get would be 1 into Quelling Blade, so this allows you to last hit easier. A Windland,
Lord is both the means and the
probably
ends
like
of war.
a Tango or 2.
By all means.
Yeah, something like that. So this will be your starting item when you start the game. And as you progress, the next item you should always get. This is
One
what I
step
like
at
to
a
tell a lot of
time.
new players, is that you should always get boots as your secondary item.
Sharp steel
this should
and
always be the first
esoteric
item you sort of build
artifacts.
towards.
Anything to ensure your precarious
And then
dominance.
from here you have a few directions. You can either go tank mode or you can get mana. So I like a combination of both. So the Ring of Basilisk here makes a lot of sense because it gives you regeneration as well as a bit of defense,
I'll
and it's
sort
not
this
too
out.
like gold intensive. So it works a bit into like your middle of the game.
Time for
When
a
it comes to
good
boots, I know
stretch.
here it recommends like power threads,
I
but
didn't need that
honestly,
anyway.
if you're playing a very aggressive against a very aggressive team, I would consider going phase boots. But otherwise, I would go arcane boots instead. And why is because even though it seems like 12 and 35 is a very small amount when it comes to mana, you really run through it real quick. You see, like now if I press it once, press it twice.
It's not down. Some food for ya. Oh, where are my manners?
It may not necessarily feel like it, but at some point it's gonna feel like
I'm not ready.
like in the early part towards the early mid of the game, your mana regen isn't really that good. So having arcane boots really helps you
Oi,
as well as your
one
team.
step at a time.
Then following that, you'd probably want to get like a tank item. So Vanguard is very nuke friendly, and you work way towards up a Crimson Guard. So yeah, for Vanguard you get like a Ring of Hell first. So this allows you to have more
Bit
mana
of
regen,
work
so you
to
can
do.
stay in the lane longer without dying. So let's take some damage from the tower.
Attack!
Okay,
More
well,
than cake from sunshine.
it just makes BristleBack much more annoying
I'm
to deal
under
with.
attack.
Like, I'm not the type of player who usually goes this kind of builds. But just know that
Yes.
if you have a Vanguard, that passive block of like the amount of damage is really nothing to scuffle at.
Bit of work to do.
And even though people like may say, it's percentage based, so it doesn't proc all the time, you'd be surprised how often this, how relevant this is. Honestly, like Vanguard isn't
You don't say.
it isn't an item for every hero, but specific for Bristleback, which is already really hard to kill,
Yes,
this just
basically
makes it much more
mashing.
annoying, right? And your job with this hero is to be in the front line, and at the same time also to sort of not die. So
Here we
that's why
go.
like I'm teaching you this character.
You wear it well, mate.
So to chase, so once again to chase down, we're gonna
what do
max
you
out
know?
this guy so he doesn't like accidentally die. So back to like let's say the gameplay.
Yes.
Let's say he's here and then he's gonna run away.
Axe
What you would do
charges.
is that you would keep pressing Q and like clicking the hero to chase him down. And every time the cooldowns are done, you should be putting another stack.
I'll
So
sort
they
this
stack
out.
multiple times, right? Because each time you throw this, it's like a number. So 1, 2, and even though Quill Spray doesn't really show it, but there's a stack for Quill Spray as well. Let's see, after a while.
It's not time yet, mate.
So you see here, like there's Quill Spray and Vicious Goo. So this is one of the, honestly, it's one of the best like chase down characters I know. Like Bristleback plus any other DPS oriented character or caster is pretty much an auto kill at some point. So Warpath is it gives you a bonus every single time you cast a spell, I believe. Yeah, it gives you damage as well as like move speed, and it stacks up multiple times. So that's why you always want to be pressing Q and clicking on an enemy, and pressing W whenever you have the chance. So kind of like what I'm doing now. So Q, W, Q, W, and you just run around the map, run around the screen and fight doing that. So you need to kite. So if you see like they're trying to get you, you turn back. If they're running away, you run towards them. So they run towards you, you run away. They run away, you run towards them. So back to the item builds. So once you get to, so let's say like this will be gone by the point you have a Vanguard. That's how you have the Vanguard. And the Quelling Blade, you just keep it for as long as you can. If you don't need it, you put it sort of like in this slot. I'd say like the next item that's pretty good to get on Bristleback would be, at least personally, I would get the
Yes.
For all intents and purposes, yeah, this does probably make the most sense. The Hood of Defiance. So one thing that's important to note is that with Hood of Defiance, as well as a Vanguard, like as one, two of your 6 items in the game, it's just really unlikely that you're going to die to anything at this point if you play it the right way, because they need so much lockdown. So unless they have a passive breaker, so there are some items, some abilities that nullify the Bristleback ability. In that case, they could kill you. But otherwise, if you play it right, it's pretty much impossible. And the nice thing is also that Hood of Defiance, you can activate it to absorb spell damage as well.
You don't say.
So let's say you've gotten really far into the game. You have your Vanguard, you have your Hood of Defiance. So here it suggests you to upgrade into, I believe, the Crimson Guard, as well as the Pipe Insight. So these are really good items if you're playing a really sort of like frontline active role and protecting your entire team. Might get these two, but otherwise, if not and you're still going for pure survival, I would work your way up into a Octarine Core instead. So what you could do is, for some items, like let's say the Arcane Boots, you can right click it and you can click Disassemble. So what it does is that now you see there's 2 locked items. So you click here and then you unlock combining, and then here you'll first need a Soul Booster. So Soul Booster is this and this. You can get it at the Secret Store, and you'll have this item now, right? So then after that, you upgrade to Octarine Core.
I'll sort this. Oh, where are my manners?
And at this point, at least from experience, when I play Bristleback, once you have Octarine Core, for the most part, you're not going to have any more like mana issues. It's really rare, unless someone has like mana burn or something. The regeneration speed would be like feasible enough, even if you spam like non-stop. Your speed of mana regeneration would be like it'll be good enough to sort of recover. Now, if you go the more aggressive build for Bristleback, sometimes or very often you see people rush Radiance. Now Radiance is one of the best items for Bristleback because he also has, like, I believe, lifesteal at some point. Yeah. So at max level, he has spell lifesteal. So I'm gonna level this up normally. Oh yeah, also I didn't really explain this part just now. So here I selected a 5+ max Goose stacks because I prefer to have more stacks whenever possible to lock down characters. That's if you're playing aggressively. Otherwise, you want to go with health. So So probably it's better to, if you're new to the game, you go with 2.5 mana regen. Then you go 200 health, which is this green bar here. Then at this point, you could either go for more survivability with 12 health regen or the quill stack damage. If you have this 20 health regen and a strong enough armor, pretty much nothing's really gonna kill you. But personally, I find it's always better to go on the aggressive and go with quill spray damage, right? And the last one, you can either have more Warpath or Lifesteal. So Warpath is more aggressive, but Lifesteal also allows you to gain more life. So it stacks with the Octarine core. So once again, at some point, all you need to do is just like stand there, and you'll probably take no damage. You see, you're not dying to this anymore. Or rather, it's really hard. And when you cast spells, you would also lifesteal from it. So that's generally how I would play Bristleback. It's really rare that you're gonna get far enough into the game where you're gonna max yourself out. But if you ever do, I'd say like a good final build for Bristleback would probably be what they recommended here, I guess. So like with the treads. So the reason why I didn't go treads first, because I don't feel it's a very good item for Bristleback, because you're not really, it may seem kind of counterintuitive, but you're not really an attack speed hero. So you see attacks, it feels like he's attacking relatively fast, but once again he's at level 25. If you're like under level 8, under level 10, the power treads is not really going to give you enough attack speed to make it exciting. Yeah, you get the extra sort of attribute as well. You can say that you can get the health, but once again, mana is really important at the earliest phase of the game. So that's why I went with the mana boots instead. But you see, like now I transition back into the treads, and you don't really lose any items. Like the only few things you sell are the things like the Quelling Blade, the thing like the Ring of the Basilisk that I bought earlier on.
You don't say.
It's not time yet, mate.
And if you go for a more aggressive build, yeah, because I like that, you can also go, you'll sell the Wind Lance, and you can go for something like a Kaya and a Sanj. So you can also go with the movement speed one, but because it's not your main attribute is strength, and you have so much move speed from Warpath that honestly, if you get this, it really isn't that necessary.
It's not time yet, mate.
Let's say we stack 2 more, so you're already at like 435 move speed. And move speed is nice on this character, but what I really say is that having more tank ability is good. You can also make an argument for a Heaven's Halberd if you need more tank ability, but this is more of a it's an endgame item, but you get it pretty like mid-game-ish. So this would be kind of like your maybe third item. You wouldn't get it as a second item though, because you still need to prioritize mana. So once again, the first thing you get after your starting items would be some form of a boots. I mean, you'll get brown boots, and then you upgrade brown boots to something else. Most of the time, that's the best thing to do.
Indeed.
And then after that, you get your first core item, which would be a Vanguard, or where is that? Or a Hood of Defiance. So a Vanguard, once again, is for if you have a more physical matchup lineup, and then a Hood of Defiance is for magic. And if it's a combination of both, you can get both. But once again, it's not that intuitive when it comes to farming, because there's a lot of things you can do with this hero. So for example, if you're behind, he's rather interesting because you can stack jungles, and you can just have your back faced up to them, and let's say the creeps are here, they keep hitting your back, and you'll keep proccing the quill spray. So you take very little damage, usually you won't die, or if you manage it well, and you'll be dealing so much damage that you can catch back up in the game.
Oi, one step at a time.
In terms of farming items, he doesn't really need farming items. I'd say that the most important would be at least one, like two like items that give you a good mana regeneration or mana pool, or one really good one. So like I said, in this case, the Octarina core is enough for your mana base. So then, yeah, so the Radiance, what else is there? Oh, what this one does. This one is armor, move speed. So yeah, if you go into those really aggressive lineups, it doesn't suggest it here because I guess they don't expect you to be in those situations. But in some games whereby you're really far behind, or rather you have extreme fights, you would want to get an eye on this. So what this does is that it breaks up the damage you're gonna take. So in this case, probably need more of these guys. Second.
They got the drop on me. Bit of work to do.
Okay, we're gonna drop some of these items so we die a bit faster.
Enemies need killing.
Come on, kill me. Okay, so you see now like you have this sort of aura, right? So basically it breaks the damage. It stops you from taking damage and any sort of like stasis effects for a while. So it is good to sort of make sure that you're not giving your enemy any kills.
Faces need mashing.
So we come back here and take back these items.
You don't say.
So let's see what else they recommend here. So they also recommend, yeah, Shiva's Guard also makes sense. But at this point, if you have like a Radiance, Oxyrian Core, I guess if you finish these up as well,
Pipe of
you
inside.
pretty much have everything you need in this character. So I probably move it to something like this. You won't really touch these.
Indeed.
So yeah. So with this item here, Pipe of Insight, press it once, and you'll protect yourself as well as teammates around the area. Generally about, let's say, yeah, this much space from damage. And for this one,
yes,
it grants, yeah, this one will grant everyone else like damage block. So in a way, at least from the way this guide is proposing, is that you're kind of like a support slash tank hero. But honestly, if you're not dealing the damage as a frontliner, I'd say that you don't really pose much of a threat because they can always just jump past you and attack your other teammates. So it's always good to have some sort of reliable damage. In this case, it will be your Quill Spray. Once again, to do that, you need enough mana as well as enough tankability.
yes.
So Shiva's Guard is really late game, I'd say, or depending on your matchup and how you farm. So this just generally slows your opponents. So BristleBack isn't really like a hero that kills people really fast. It's more like the longer you last in a fight, the better you become. His endurance is really high, so that's why like the Radiance makes a lot of sense, because Radiance isn't good on heroes that can't survive team fights, but BristleBack can. So that's why I say it should be one of the core items. I understand why it's situational if he's not really like a core 2 or like a position 1.
At a time.
And often like BristleBack isn't played as a position 1, but honestly I'd say he totally
Bit
did.
of work to do.
What else can I teach here? So yeah, so once again, one last time, we're
Cut
going
and
to
run.
explain his abilities.
You don't say.
So another thing you could do is if you hover over his ability Q, you see this green line circle. So this shows the range, right? So you get a good idea. So sometimes what I like to do is I'll walk towards an area, hover over Q to see like how much space I have, and then I do that. So Q, W, Q, W, Q, W, and just run around, and you do a hit and run strategy, right? Like you run away, you hit them, then you run back. Let's say you chase after you, run. After they run away, then you Q and chase, and hit, and go back. So there's a lot of back and forth. Once again, that's how this hero should be way.
Prepare the line pits. A second lane.
And even though you can sort of like play the lazy way of just lock down and right click, unless they're running away from you, you don't want to always face them head on. You want to make sure that every time they hit you, they're hitting your back. It takes a bit of like micro, but at some point you'll be able to get it.
These faces need mashing.
And otherwise, you can just play it as a normal right-click hero.
Put your lights out. Where are my manners? This is no battlefield.
That's how you play
This is a
BristleBack.
slaughterhouse.
Thanks for watching.